Greetings, Earthlings. I'm visiting colorful Colorado right now. Just before I left Arizona, I stopped and visited with our friend Danny, and we went through a few other things, showed him a few other things, and we'll give you a little bit of that information now. We didn't get him all the way into Getty Images. I'll explain that at the end of the video. We'll be right back with you.
Showed me was a Control P and Control V.
Yeah.
Okay, and I remembered that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, I'm going to try sending one of these slide images not only to myself but to my brother.
Yeah.
And then I texted him saying, I'm sending this to you. Can you text me when you get it? Because I wanted to make sure that everything went through. Okay, and he's like, text me, yeah, I did get it. It seems a little this off. You might want to change this on the image. You know, I was like, that's okay. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah.
So, and then I got it to myself because I sent it to myself too. So, it's working. Your instructions and training and tutoring is. I'm going to try this.
That's good.
You know.
Well, and there.
Got a couple things today. I'd like to continue with the slides.
Okay.
And a couple of things with that. I've designated the 6 that we're going to hopefully get uploaded to Getty.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know which 6 those are.
Yeah.
Speaking of the slides, I didn't load many more through the digital scanner and then onto the computer because I think, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, is how do I kind of organize it so I really know where they're at and which one? So I'm thinking I should just go country by country, and then like the year, or maybe I can go the country, the city, and then the year. And that way I can kind of have an audit trail.
Well, one thing like with this, anytime you do a image from a device, the device assigns a number to the image. So, but one thing you can do is organizationally, like you have the folders labeled the way you want them.
Correct.
But I think also it might be a good idea to go in and give it a descriptive file name.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm hoping for.
So we'll do that. That's part of our process when we go in there. We'll do that.
Okay.
I'll show you how to read it. Very simple, straightforward thing to do.
Okay.
And I do it for many different things. Sometimes like you have to save a document from the internet and it assigns that number to it. It's like if I look for that 2 years from now, I'm not going to know
what's what. Yeah.
That's right. So I tend to, even when I go to save stuff, because when you get something off the internet, it usually gives you the option for the name. So when you go to save it, at that point you can say, well, this is this application for so and so. And so I tend to give it that name at that point. Because also, let's say you don't even remember where you put it. If you give it a descriptive name for the file, later on you can search for that file through the search function of the computer. And what you can do, let's say you have one labeled Italy or France. Okay. You can put France, or you can have France 1, France 2, France 3, or maybe the year that things were taken also.
Okay.
So I think that'd be a good way to do it with yours, is to create like a naming convention, like where it was, the year it was, and the number it is for you.
Okay.
So that way you have to do the number to differentiate between the two, because you have many slides from.
Can I still put, like take for instance a Swiss barn? Okay, that's in Lucerne, Switzerland.
Yeah.
In December of 1950.
Yeah.
And so I would like to be able to put, Swiss barn, Lucerne, Switzerland, 1950.
Yeah. Well, there's limitations in the number of characters. We'll look that up when we go inside. Right. So we'll find out.
I think try to get the iPhone backed up and going, because we're going to need to get the app on this, and it might take time.
What version of iPhone is that?
That's an 8.
An 8. Now I'm not completely experienced with iPhone. I mean I've used them helping people, but we'll have to see if that meets the requirement for the app, because an 8 is an older iPhone.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to look and see, because that might be a barrier for us. I think, are they on 13 now? Is that what?
I have no idea. This one does everything I want it to do. So why would I get another one? Let's do that first.
Okay.
You know, and that way we don't jump through a bunch of
But if I
hoops
have to,
to try to get through this project.
Well, we'll see.
You know, we'll just, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, and I did a little tag at the end of our last video about system requirements, which is important. When the reason the slide scanner is so impressive. Video also that it doesn't require a computer. It doesn't have to be hooked up to something specifically, and that's the good thing. It does everything within itself. But there are some things you use, like apps on a phone, that may require certain levels of, in an iPhone, iOS age, and the physical hardware age would have an effect. So when you go to get an app, you have to look and see what the requirement is. For my Android, same thing. I have to look and see what the requirement is for that. Because there's some things that on an older Android might not run. All right, so we'll go in there and we'll figure out the requirements for that. We're going to go to Getty. We'll find out what the requirements are for that application.
Okay.
And if it's higher level, then we'll cross, as you say, cross that bridge when we get
there. Right. Yeah. Or maybe blow up that bridge after we crossed it.
There you go. Exactly. So.
All right.
So it turns out that the phone that Danny has is not new enough to work with the application for Getty Images. So he is going to obtain a new phone, and then we'll get his application going and get those things posted for him. It's an important part whenever you're thinking about a technological thing you can do to know where you stand. Now, he had an iPhone 8. The current iPhone is iPhone 15. So when changes are made for stuff like this, it isn't, sometimes it feels like they're just trying to get you to buy a new phone. But what happens is the phones get better and better. The software that supports the phone has to match the new hardware. And at a certain point, the older software, the older hardware becomes obsolete because of that. Sometimes it's a security issue. Sometimes there's a flaw in software that can cause a problem. They don't really always specify what the changes are for, but it's important to keep in mind when you're thinking about doing something, what's required. We talked about that with that slide scanner, that one was self-contained, so it didn't need any specific hardware to go with it. But in this case, he'll need to get the new thing. So we're going to see him soon, and we'll post that as soon as we get it. You have a good day. Bye. self-contained. You mentioned that in the